All right, welcome to Recine Time. We are joined on today's show by a very special guest. You guys might remember him when he was here last time. It is my cousin Chaz. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, so I want to talk to you. We're with Iran right now, and you're gonna be 18 before you know. You're gonna be military age before you know it. So I just want you to understand what's going on over there, and that you should not, do not go. Do not go.
Yeah, no, hell no, bro. I'm not going to war for Israel. I'm not going to die for them. Like, straight up, we just found out our country's run by pedophiles, right?
Yeah.
And now, ever since we got involved with Iran, you know, the Google searches for Epstein went down by 95%. Like,
yes,
that's fucking crazy.
Yes, they did. How do you know that?
Honestly, like, I'd just be learning this shit because I'm not even jacking off anymore.
You're not jacking off anymore?
Hell no. No, I'm not jacking off. OnlyFans is run by a Zionist, you know, the number one contributor to AIPAC. So, like, honestly, we're just turning our women into prostitutes so we can go bomb little kids. Nah, fuck that. Miss me with that.
Okay, so that is a word. That's a word that you're not really allowed to say. We don't really say that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Like, don't be gay, my.
Okay, Michelle, can you cut the? Yeah, can you cut? There's a lot of history behind that word. There's a lot of pain behind that word. Okay, and wait. Let me just explain something to you. If you said that word around a black person, they would beat the shit out of you.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would beat the shit out of you, and they would be completely justified. So
rappers can say it. Rappers can say it.
Don't say it again.
No,
don't say it again.
You're not my dad. I can say it. Ow, what the fuck?
Didn't I tell you not to say it?
That's fucking crazy.
I told you not to say it, and you said it.
Ow! Why did you fucking?
Because I told you to stop. I told you to stop.
No! What the fuck?
Stop,
bro!
I told you to stop.
No.
Did I tell you to stop?
So
I told you to stop. Go away. Go. I got a show to do.
Kid.
Go.
You're just so fucked
You're
up.
almost military age. You're a racist piece of shit.
You have autism.
What's wrong with that? I'm passionate about stuff. I don't wish you would do anything. I just
I can't control you.
Welcome, friends. It's Recine time, and what's going on? What's going on in the world? What's going on? Is the United States losing a war? Is the United States losing a war, but has the entire world lined up against us once again? But are we losing a war and the entire world is lined up against us once again, but now everybody in the country is rooting for us to lose this war? What is happening? Have we finally found a perfect society to model ourselves after? Have we finally found a group of people that represents everything that we are not? Has America finally found Islam? Have we finally found a way to model our lives? Have we woken up? Have we woken up and finally figured out the kind of people that we want to be? Have we figured out who we want to be? Have we liberated ourselves? Have we realized that this country is the great Satan? We've always been the great Satan, but that's okay, because once you know who Satan is, then you can do the other thing. You can support the other people. This is the first time I think maybe in my life I've been happy to be at war. I get it now. I understand what it's like to be a Frenchman going into World War I with a little cap with a feather in it and getting torn up by German artillery. You know, I understand. I get the fervor. I understand being comfortable with death. I understand that as an Amerifat, as a cucked Amerifat, I might have to blow up. I might have to die, but I think I will die with a little bit of honor. At least I'll die. At least I'll be someone who, okay, yes, all I did was podcast, but I brought my people to the light. And the light that I'm talking about is the light of a missile exploding. We got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot going on here. If you're familiar with Mike Recine lore, you know that I've been reading The Power Broker for 2 years. Okay, that's why is that funny? I mean, there's a lot of other books that I want to read, but you know how we've talked about this before. The print is very small, and I don't have time to sit down and read a book. And if I'm going to read a book, it's not going to be, it's not going to be about the highways. That's a peacetime book, right? I'm trying to read more wartime. I want to read more wartime books. If you were Robert Caro, which there will never be another Robert Caro. He's a fantastic author. The only two books he's ever written are what I believe. I think it's The Power Broker and his 4-volume biography of LBJ. If you were Robert Caro, if you were the Robert Caro of today, and you were sitting down, you were sitting down to write a Donald Trump autobiography, a Donald Trump biography, a 1,100 page, maybe even more. That guy had aura. Robert Moses did have some aura and some riz, Yeah. You kind of have to respect him a little bit, But that's the cool thing about storytelling is that you don't have to advocate for the people that you're telling the story about. You don't have to, sometimes the hero in the story can be somebody else, not the subject of the story. And then sometimes the hero of the story is the person that you're writing about. But what I was thinking is that if you were going to tell the Donald Trump story, what you want to do is you want to tell this 10-year story, right? From 2016, from 2015, the start of his campaign, to 2026. You want to go over the course of 10 years, and you want to include all of the significant events, the campaign, the humiliation of Hillary Clinton, bringing Bill Clinton's victims to the debate and sitting them right next to Bill Clinton. Because you'd be in jail, when he said, because you'd be in jail.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
The first term, right? The maybe perhaps the Steve Bannons, the Sebastian Gorkas, the Anthony Scaramucci, perhaps the short reign of Anthony Scaramucci. Him calling Liz Warren Pocahontas to those wind talker guys, to those veterans. The tax cuts, right? That was kind of a big deal, I guess. There was a big bunch of tax cuts for the wealthy. The only things that I really remember, I guess, is like COVID, the killing of Soleimani. I mean, that's kind of like relevant now, and January 6th. But if you remember in the first term, there was a lot of, somebody's got to stop him. Well, actually, article this of the Constitution says that a president has to blah blah blah, and there's the policy and the and you can't appoint a judge this late in your presidency to the Supreme Court. You can't replace RBG now. You can't do that. You can't. There was a lot of you can't do that, Mr. President. That was all. That's kind of what I remember, actually, about when you look at the story of Donald Trump. It was a big 10-year saga of you can't do that, Mr. President. You can't do that, Mr. President. That's what it was. January 6th happens. He tries to overthrow the government. He brings a bunch of. I mean, that was a funny day. That was a great day because we were all glued to our TVs when that happened, and we were thinking, how is this going to play out? And I think they ended up, I don't know, asking him nicely to leave, and he said, "All right, I'll get out of here." But he did try to overthrow the government. He loses the election. He leaves office. He's around for 4 years. We have Biden's presidency. What I'm getting at is that nobody ever. I mean, you had people who acted like January 6th was the second 9/11, and nothing, then nothing happened. Nobody was prosecuted. some of the people doing it were prosecuted, and that was pretty funny. A lot of them went to jail. I guess that's funny. A lot of dads, a lot of Texas dads ended up going to jail. But nobody was, but nobody. He never had to answer for the greatest crime that ever happened in American history. He kills Qasem Soleimani in January of 2020, right before COVID. Murders an Iranian general. Iran sort of responded, but not really. Nothing much happened. His second presidency starts. He kidnaps Maduro. Nothing really happens. He sends ICE to Minneapolis. People put up a fight, and that seems to go away. He starts war with Iran. He kills their supreme leader. He kills the supreme leader during Ramadan. I'm sure people understand how significant that is. You're killing the leader of a country who, during their holy month. You're killing their political and their spiritual leader in their holiest month. That would be like killing the Pope right before Christmas, you know. And I know you're not like a Christmas person, Michelle, but it would be a big deal. It would literally be the equivalent of like 9/11 happening right before Christmas. It would be like if they killed Trump, the Pope, and Will Ferrell, maybe, all on the same day. Trump, the Pope, and Shane Gillis. Imagine if they killed our political leader, our spiritual leader, and the Pope on the same day. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Okay, cool. We're going to be joined by an economist a little later on the show. And I'm excited to talk about that. Great. Cool. Can we charge this? Thank you so much. What I'm getting at is that no one has ever stood up to this bully before. So now what I'm hearing is that he attacks Iran. He kills Khomeini. They thought that was going to be a quick, regime change. You have millions of people in the street. You have the whole country is rallied because let's remember that Shane Gillis and Donald Trump are dead. Okay, that's the reference. That's your reference point right there. Trump and Shane Gillis are dead. And now. What I'm hearing is that he's asking for a ceasefire. He's asking Iran for a ceasefire, and Iran said, "Talk to our missiles." And it's just fascinating to me because this has never really happened before. No one's ever applied this amount of force to the United States. Any opposition to this guy has always been just very mealy-mouthed, wishy-washy kind of policy stuff. No, there's never, I don't know. This could possibly be, aside from him getting COVID, this might be the first time there's been any type of consequence, and I think that's fascinating. But yeah, moving on. I was reading that. So we like to think of this war. We like to think of this war as something that our country's doing, and they're doing it against our will, and everyone's against this, right? Nobody wants this war. 90% of Americans are against this war.
75.
Is it 75?
Did you hear 90?
Yeah, I might have heard. I thought it was like 80 or something. But it's high.
Yeah, it's very high.
Nobody wants war with Iran because our martyr Charlie Kirk was, Although I guess they did kind of kill our spiritual leader Charlie Kirk and nothing really happened. They did kill our Christ-like, our beautiful Catholic boy that we love. But I am reading that defense stocks are up. Okay. So defense stocks are at an all-time high. Things like, Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and stuff like that. Everybody's buying. Everybody's making money off the war. So, you do have to think of this war as something that's systemic. It's not just something that the powerful people want. It is, there are people's dads once again making money off of this thing, and just something to think about. Don't do it. But I guess what I'm getting at is we're all sort of culpable for this in a way. We're all sort of responsible. We all have retirement accounts that are in the, we all want to see the economy do well because we all want our retirement accounts to be in good shape, But don't do it. Everybody has to make a choice now. Everybody wants to choose if they're good, if they want to be good or evil. If you want to be evil, you can buy defense stocks and you'll probably make some money. If you want to be casually evil, if the image of that little 10-year-old boy waving goodbye to his mother doesn't bother you, that boy who was killed, if that doesn't bother you and you look at that photo and you go, wow, I can make some money off this, go ahead, make some money. It's easy to do. Will there be consequences? I don't know. Maybe there will. Maybe not in this life. Maybe the next one. Go ahead, have at it. But what I'm getting at is that we can all sort of do our part. We can all sort of do our part in this quite biblical battle of good versus evil. Okay? We can all do our part, and one thing that guys my age can do is we can stop jacking off. We can stop watching pornography. If you really care about the children of Gaza, the children of Lebanon, the children of Iran, stop tugging your... Stop. I don't know if it's in the Bible or not, but stop jacking off. I know a lot of us are sort of, we grew up in America, and jacking off was such a big part of who we are, I know jacking off is a big deal for a lot of us. I know that maybe when we were 12, we didn't have Islam, and we would go to school and our friends would all talk about jacking off, and you felt a little insecure because all your friends were able to produce semen and you hadn't yet, and you felt insecure about that. And you were like, what's wrong with me? And you have all these memories of of jacking off. You remember the first time you were able to produce semen. You slow danced with Claudia DeMeglio at the school dance to "With Arms Wide Open" by Creed. And then you went home and you ejaculated for the first time, and you said, "Oh, good. I am a late bloomer, but I'm not defective. I'm normal." Anyway, let's just take a look at this clip.
I heard about all of these girls fucking crushing on OnlyFans. Do you know that the #1 earner on OnlyFans makes more money than LeBron James?
What?
That is feminism. Yes. And we have been taught that we should not show our bodies because it is shameful, and that is some propagandic bullshit because it is so powerful and it hurts no one.
You know what's interesting? She makes more money, and she makes the people at home do the dribbling.
And the dishes.
I wish to God I had a drum set so I could do a rim shot. That was incredible.
I mean, we're all like posting shit online anyway, and we're posting thirst traps for fucking Zuckerberg to benefit off of. So why not do it in an exclusive, controlled manner, and then have people donate money to whatever cause you care about, if you even care about anything.
All right, I'll do it for AIPAC.
So from what I understand, the guy who owns OnlyFans is the #1 contributor to AIPAC, okay? Pornhub is owned by a rabbi. and not that that's bad or anything, but what I'm guessing these people are Zionists. I do think that clip in particular, that clip bothers me a lot because she's saying that it's empowering. She's saying that it's empowering to do OnlyFans, and that's feminism, and that you make a lot of money by you just because as we know, Michelle, you just automatically make money if you show your body on OnlyFans. The money just comes in automatically. The only thing that's stopping you is society. Is this oppressive society that we live under. It really bugged me, and I feel like that clip is so shameless, and it's so nakedly dishonest, And I think I talked about this on the show before, but like, not every woman, and I'm sure you guys know this. If we have any like female listeners in their late teens or early 20s, and maybe you're thinking about doing OnlyFans, I mean, I'm sure that you know that like most people do not make money. We don't. Oh, okay. Well, you guys have nieces, I'm sure. Yeah. So talk to your nieces, please. Talk to your nieces. But I just like, there's something so, it just really bugged me watching that because it was so dishonest. And then you see Nick Offerman sitting there with his belly hanging out, talking about like, oh yeah, you should come to my shop and do a, you should come to my shop and do a shoot. She's talking about doing OnlyFans for charity, but it's like, I'm sorry, this idea that you are gonna like, that you're gonna liberate yourself, by showing whole. We gotta get rid of that. OnlyFans, I hate to break it to you, but OnlyFans is kind of like podcasting. You miss the window if you didn't start it in 2017. You miss the window. There's too many people doing it. There's way too many people doing it, and you're gonna end up doing it not having any money. Just something to think about. And she said it doesn't hurt anybody. It does hurt people. It's the guy's sending money to Israel. Actually, sweetheart, Toots, it literally hurts the most vulnerable people on the planet. So I know you guys are all sitting at home and you're saying, how do I help Iran? How do I betray my country? How do I can I send weapons? Can I donate my time? Can we do a bake sale or something? But literally, you can cancel your OnlyFans today, and you can call all of your friends. You can call all your friends on the phone, and you can say, "Listen, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. How's the family? Do you jack off to OnlyFans? And if you are, I need you to stop." And it's for the children of Iran. Okay? So, something to think about. The situation is interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I find myself online a lot. I'm sort of glued to the phone. I want to stay in the know. I want to know what's happening. There's a lot of bad information out there. You kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. You don't really know if you don't really know if you're getting good information or not. And there's a lot of people that are, I saw multiple tweets saying that, Ben Gvir is dead, and then he released a video saying, "Ha, I'm alive." So you want to make sure, but you got to remember that we're not really, you're not really going to get the full picture. You got to take everything you see with a grain of salt, and you can't really, but you got to remember that the media is not going to tell you the truth either. Did you guys know that? The media lies to you. No, but the media is not going to give you the full picture. The media, I doubt that Fox News is going to tell you that, because I saw that Trump asked Iran for a ceasefire, and Iran said, "No ceasefire, these are our terms," and they said, "You have to get rid of the state of Israel." I mean, it literally looked like like one of Michelle's journal entries. The stuff that Iran was asking for. So stay, like I said, be hyper aware, be hyper vigilant, try to get good information. But I do want to say this. I was watching Fox News, and apparently, there was a protest at Gracie Mansion. Some protesters showed up. Somebody threw a nail bomb. Okay, somebody throws a nail bomb, and it didn't detonate. But Fox News has on this guy, some guy named Paul Waparino or something, some retired NYPD guy. Okay, and he's talking about the nail bomb, and he goes, well, these things, they're these are the kind of devices that are used by jihadi groups such as Al Qaeda and ISIS. Okay, and from what I understand, from my I've been on this long journey to sort of become educated and liberate my mind. From what I understand, Al Qaeda and ISIS are creations of the CIA and the Mossad. Okay, the guy who's in charge of Syria right now is a former Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, the people who brought you 9/11 are in charge of Syria right now, and the guy who's from Al Qaeda is at the White House. He's playing basketball with Donald Trump, and I don't, in a sane society, that would probably never happen, but it does happen in this one. But what I'm getting at is that once you start, because my wife is worried about war and terrorist attacks and stuff like that. I'm just trying to explain to her, I'm like, listen, I don't think, I was trying to break it down. I said, listen, I don't think Iran, I don't think Iran's going to attack us. I don't think their missiles can reach New York. I don't think they want to attack us. So what you got to be worried about is a false flag. You got to be worried about a false flag or nukes if nukes start flying. If nukes start flying, there's not really, do you have a plan? I should probably have a plan. I just don't have a plan. Maybe we'll do that next week. And then what if you have kids? You have to kill your kids first? Because I know what I'm going to kill my wife with. I know how I'm going to kill my wife because I've ran that scenario in my head so many times, Yeah. But I guess I need to buy a gun to kill my kids in case we get nuked. Anyway, what I'm getting at is when Israeli paramilitary groups bombed the King David Hotel back in whatever it was, 1946 or whatever, they dressed up like Arabs, and they came in with, so that they framed the Arabs for it. Okay. If you read Twitter, if you're on Twitter a lot, or Reddit or whatever it is, you'll sort of know that ISIS is a creation of the CIA. Okay. So what I'm getting at is that I remember what it was like right after 9/11, being scared. I remember that fog of you're watching the news and you go, these jihadi groups, there's jihad, and you're worried about jihadi groups. But if you're going to get killed in a terrorist attack, you will more likely be killed by a Jewish person dressed up like a Muslim than an actual Muslim. And isn't that liberating to know who's going to kill you? Isn't it liberating to know, to understand no, people are mostly peaceful. Most normal people don't kill each other. Most normal people don't do terrorist attacks. And most terrorist attacks are false flags. And if I'm going to die in a terrorist attack, more than likely it will be a false flag. And I do not need to live in fear of jihad. I don't need to worry about the knockout game, because those kids were probably CIA agents. Those kids playing the knockout game, they were actually CIA they worked for the CIA. I went to Jersey this week and I saw my parents, and I read my dad's will. I'm looking at it, and I had a bunch of thoughts. It made me kind of understand my parents and my family, actually, because it's like, I guess I get it. I guess I understand you, Dad. I guess I get that, like, you're a boomer. You have this piece of property. You have an in-ground pool. You got this nice little bag. You know, you got this nice little this nice little pile of wealth. You live on a dead-end street. You go to Wegmans every day. I mean, my dad goes to Wegmans like every day, right? It's nice. It's a nice life. It's nice. It's comfortable. You know. You go to Wegmans, it's massive. You push your cart around. You get whatever you want. You get cupcakes. You get cookies. You put cookies in your. Now my parents have it a little different because they have my brother's got a disability, so they gotta take care of him. So they do have to think about his future and who's going to take care of my brother. You know. But I guess my grandmother has, like when my grandmother sells her house, that money is going to go towards my brother Alex to take care of my brother Alex. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, if sometime in the near future my grandma's going to die, and then if my brother Alex wants to go to Disney World with his nephews, then like that's what the money will be there for. So like we can all just have a free trip to Disney World, and that's nice. Like I'm also looking through it, and I'm like, I don't know how much money there is. I know that my parents' house is, I think it's somewhere in like the high sixes, like we live in like a little upper middle class neighborhood. Okay. So they got this piece of property. I'm thinking like, oh, okay. So if my sister passes away in a boating accident, like then what happens? You know, do I get her share? And I was also thinking I was wondering what's the funniest amount of money to murder a sibling over, you know, like you kill your sibling and then you get their inheritance. I was thinking the funniest amount is like 16 grand, because that's like nothing. That's just enough to be nothing. 3,000-4,000, you're a psychopath, but 16,000, catching a body over 16,000 is very, very funny. But then it got me thinking, like, because I saw some other article. And we're going to talk to an economist in a little bit. But I saw this other article where it was like boomers are, I guess what's happening is boomers are selling their houses. Boomers are trying to sell their houses, but boomers have not realized that they don't have anyone to sell their house to, right? Because theoretically, you buy a house, you raise kids in that house, your kids move out, you go, this house is too big, I don't want to clean this house anymore. You sell your house to a young family. You get a smaller house, but now all the young families are living in storage units. There's no one to buy your house, and I'm trying to think of like, you know, you got mom, dad, 2 kids. You get a nice little 10 by 10, and you can all live there comfortably. But I think that's interesting, and I think that, you know, people always say boomers took all the wealth, boomers stole everything. But what does that actually look like? And you think about a boomer is somebody who, like, their parents benefit, you know, like if you look at American history, a boomer is somebody whose parents benefited from the GI Bill. Their parents served in World War II and they were able to start families. Then in the 1960s, you had the Great Society and you had, you know, Medicare and Medicaid and stuff like that and all these social programs. And then you jump to the 80s and it's like, it's Ronald Reagan, it's George Bush. When the boomers became adults, they said, cool, great, thank you very much. This is all for us and fuck everybody else. I'm thinking, what's a good analogy for this? And I was thinking, do you remember, like, I remember on Halloween, when on Halloween sometimes there were families that they would put out a big bowl of candy and they'd put notes out and say, "Happy Halloween, please take one," right? And I remember this kid in my class being like, "Yeah, they put out a bowl. This kid, "Yeah, they put a bowl out and said take one, and we took the bowl and we emptied it into our bags." And I remember being 12 years old and being like, that's not that doesn't work that way. That's not how. Like, why are you bragging about this? Why do you want me to laugh? Yeah, because you know what's going to happen. That house, they said, yeah, I don't think we're going to do candy this year because some kid, we were watching our Ring camera, and I know Michelle is anti Ring camera, but I'm pro Ring camera because you can see what people are doing with the candy. And they looked at the Ring camera and they said, oh, we're gonna actually cut that. We're not going to do that anymore because somebody took some scumbag dumped the candy into their bag. And that's what boomers did. They didn't. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like they took everything and they didn't think about putting it back. They didn't think about replenishing. They just hoarded it for themselves. And so I'm kind of curious about this, and I'm curious about what that looks like, and I want to talk about sort of the future of the economy. Am I going to be able to hear her? Okay. So we're going to chat with economist Jessica Burbank. Give her a call. Now you're an economist. Okay, so the economy right now, the war, the bombing, the gas. How do you feel? What are your reactions?
Bad. Generally not good. Not good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we saw the price of oil go up, and then I think we only saw the market chill out because G7 countries, so think the superpowers of the world, said we'll release some of our oil and reserves if you guys try to profit off of this. So I do think the market's going to stay crazy. It sounds like we're going after Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, where a lot of oil leaves the Middle East, and they have said that only, China can get oil shipments out of here. That's not good for us. This is going to be a bad situation.
And now what if you're somebody who you have a car, but you don't drive it that much, and you kind of don't spend that much money. Do regular Americans who are all kind of, whose lives are in the shitter, do they have to worry?
I think so, yeah. I think because, most of the stuff that we get off of our shelves is trucked around the country. And so when you see the price of a gallon of gas go up, then you see the price of everything go up because the trucks need fuel. And so that's why people say, if we're seeing inflation in terms of fuel, we're going to see prices of everything else go up. So we're already seeing $8 gallon of gas plus in California.
Right. So that just has ripple effects.
Yeah.
For everybody else. I want to talk about I want to ask you about generational stuff because
yes.
I was home in Jersey this weekend and I read my parents' will, and and so I was thinking about that, and I a lot of times I think about how older generations have more money. And then I think people our age are all kind of feeling you hear people talk about it. You hear people say oh, the boomers took all the wealth. Is that true? Is there any validity to that? And what does that mean? And what did that look like?
That is true. So over 73% of total wealth in the United States is in the hands of people over 55. So generations is a sociology thing. Boomers cutoff is basically 1964 is what they decided. So that means you're born in 71 if you're 55. So this isn't perfect, but that's mostly baby boomers. And it's a crazy concentration of wealth in old people's hands. If we look at real estate, people over the age of 55 own 43% plus of all of the real estate in the country. But then there's also other interesting statistics that kind of demonstrate how young people don't have a lot of money by comparison. So one of the biggest metrics, they'll take an average household. So let's say the average household has $100,000 of wealth.
That's a lot. That's a ton.
It's a lot. That's not the real number, but it's easy to keep it a round number of 100 because in the 80s, people over the age of 75, so the pretty old people, they only had 1.0 times the average household wealth. So $105,000. Today, they have over 1.5 times the average household's wealth. So they would have $155,000. That's like insane, because you would think that old people are dipping into their retirement. They would have less money than people, that are at the peak of their career. We're also seeing that people under the age of 35 in the 80s had 25%, about a quarter of average household wealth. Today, that's 15%. Like, there's a big difference between, let's say, like $15,000 and $25,000.
And then, like, as an economic analyst, like, do you think that could change if all of us like killed our parents? I mean, that's a joke, but like, is it going to be different when our parents start dying? Are there going to be any like any type of redistribution, or will that sort of like stay the same?
This is actually something that we talk about a lot in the field of economics. Is we're about to have the biggest transfer of generational wealth that we've seen, because the baby boomers, it was a huge generation. Everyone was having kids.
Because I don't know if you saw recently, there was a guy in Long Island who killed both of his parents. They owned a deli and he killed his parents. And I'm just like, maybe that guy is like just really into the economy,
Yeah. He's just trying to speed things up a bit with the generational wealth transfer. And someone in Iran, one of the Iranian war accounts, was saying, we're about to see the biggest, transfer of wealth we've ever seen. I'm like, are they going to kill all the boomers? Like, that's exactly where my brain went, because we talk about this wealth transfer so much. They're just going to open up like a fraud center somewhere in Tehran and just have people, steal money from old Americans. But no, that's very real. That's going to happen.
Like, what do you think that'll look like?
I think it's just going to be kids inheriting their parents' leftover money. It's a weird thing, though, because there's so much anxiety among boomers financially. They save money a lot. They're spending their retirements not really dipping into their retirement accounts because, I don't know, they think they're going to live forever. I don't know why they think this. But that remaining money, a lot of it exists as assets and investments. Kids are going to take it over. Does that mean that like older millennials, upon inheriting their parents' stock portfolio and wealth, are going to become super conservative? I actually don't think so. I don't think we're going to see that happen. I think we're going to see these people have a lot more power in our society that are more progressive. And hopefully this will mean, positive political change.
It's good to be optimistic, though.
I think so. Yeah.
Are there any policies that you can point to and you go like, oh, this is how we got here? Like, this is why old people have so much money and this is why young people have so little?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. There's the reality that like the minimum wage has not been protected. So if we look at the minimum wage since the 70s, adjusted for inflation, it's remained stagnant. But workers have been increasingly more productive as time goes on and technology improves. So they're not being compensated fairly for the work they're doing and the wealth they're creating in the economy. It's going to shareholders. It's going to people who own stock. Stock options are not happening. Retirement accounts and pensions are not being offered to workers in addition to their wages not going up. So we're not getting a slice of the investments, the people really making money in our economy, but also we're not being compensated fairly for work anymore. And so think about boomers. They could pay for an undergraduate degree working a minimum wage job. That is so far from reality today. They could get a mortgage on a house working a minimum wage job. And so because we haven't seen wages rise in accordance with inflation, it's just much harder to get by now. They were able to actually have a house, start a family, make investments, save for retirement, and enjoy a level of financial security, whereas younger generations have lived in debt their entire lives since they left their parents' home.
And I'm not one of these guys who like hates my parents. I think they were kind of like doing their best, but I guess there is like probably a little bit of resentment. And so, like, are there any specific choices that maybe those people made along the way, like during the course of their, I don't know, from the time they were adults until now? Is there any sort of like philosophy you can point to, or maybe like vote, like somebody they voted for, or maybe a value system or something like that I mean, I always think of that meme that's like, it's like a meme of like great grandparents generation says we'll create a better world for our kids, And then there's boomers, and it says, fuck you, entitled brats.
Well, you'll see on Facebook, like, boomers saying, hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Truly, I believe boomers are actually
the weak men,
the people who live through easy times, and they are weak men. They,
so we're the strong men
who grew up in hard times. Yeah, that's truly how I see it. But I mean, they voted for people like Ronald Reagan, people who believed in deregulation, which allowed corporations to pay people next to nothing, pollute the entire planet, have insane corporate profits, consolidation of markets, right? Deregulation caused all kinds of problems for us. Privatization, the decline of investment in infrastructure and social services and education, that set us all up to fail. And they said that this is great. It's trickle-down economics. It's going to be good for everyone. Really, it's only benefiting people at the top. So kind of by boomers being complacent and not being politically active and really questioning, is this true? Is what they're telling us actually going to happen? That did create the conditions where there wasn't the accountability to say, actually, no, we're going to elect people that are going to fight for us. Whereas our generation, when Trump lies, people care about it. People pay attention to it. When someone like Zoran Mamdani is like, hey, we can actually have nice things, we're like, yeah, we like that guy. So I think boomers are weak, and that's the problem.
I think but
I love my parents.
Right. Yeah. I mean, mine are okay. But I don't know. I find it really interesting. And I guess I don't know. I keep having these imaginary arguments with my dad. Like last week, because I remember my dad a few months ago being like, well, say what you want about Trump, but he hasn't gotten into any wars. And then you're looking at people who like live through Afghanistan and Iraq, and they just like, they haven't learn their lesson. But I guess why would they if they're not going to suffer any consequences? And I guess when you think about it, like some of them get their heads cut off by their son, and those are the only consequences that they suffer.
Yeah, it's so weird. They messed up the entire world, and it's like we pointed out. We're like, look at the world we're inheriting. The planet's burning, the economy is horrible. And what are they doing right before they die? Creating a war with a 7,000-year-old country? Are you kidding me?
And going on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thanks we get?
Yeah.
They're just blowing it up before they leave?
Right. Well, thank you for validating all my prejudices against all my generational resentment. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave people with?
No. But it's always a good thing to look at your parents' will.
Your parents' wealth?
Will. So yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Did I tell you I did that this weekend?
Yeah, that's what gave me the idea to tell other people that. Make sure that money is going to you.
Can I tell you though, I'm just like, I'm so stupid. Like, I don't know why I didn't, but I'm looking at this will and I'm like, okay, I guess a trustee is the person that operates the trust. But I don't know. I had to ask Michelle what leverage was last week. Like, I don't know. And then it's also like, you don't want to pocket watch either. You don't want to like know how much money, because that's kind of beta when you think about it, to like know how much money your daddy has.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like I've never pried into to be like.
But this was the first time you knew what was in there.
But I still don't know how much how much they have, and I kind of like don't want to know. I know how much the house is worth, but isn't it a little bit beta to be like pocket watching your dad and looking at your dad's wealth, or is it not?
Daddy's money, yeah.
Yeah, and should we not be ashamed about that?
Morally, no, I think it's fine. I think that because they're going to try to tax the money you get, your inheritance tax.
Right.
You should have a plan.
Yeah, Zoran's going to try to tax it, right?
Yeah. They're going to.
Zoran's going to steal my money.
Yeah, and give it to the buses.
Yeah, so it's fine to pocket watch your dad. Is what you're saying?
I think that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I encourage it.
Okay, great. Well, you heard it from Jessica Burbank, everybody. Ask your dad how much bread he has and start thinking about what we're going to do with it, you know? Maybe we'll pool it together and send it to Iran.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to see the largest transfer of, money sent over to the Iranian military so they can continue their fight for good.
In the same way we give Israelis healthcare, maybe Iran could give us healthcare if we give them our money to manage it instead of Wall Street as like an alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they could kill my parents with a drone. You know?
Right.
Speed it up.
That could be the we never know. They're always vague posting.
Right. Yeah, you just never know how all this is going to shake out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Cool.
This has been fun. I hadn't looked into those numbers in a minute, so it's getting worse.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll do it again.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks a million. You too. Okay, I think that's the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Patreon.com/Recine Time. If you like the work that we do, if you want to support it, $5 a month gets you a bonus episode every single week. We thank you so much. Even if you're just a regular listener, we appreciate you, and we're listening and we're learning. We're taking in all your feedback. You get to be like a little shareholder in the company. You get to vote on stuff, vote on the direction of the show. Does Michelle get to stay another week, or is she voted off the island? Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.